Hello, everyone. I'm Joe McGovern, awards reporter at TheWrap. We are so happy to have you here today for our 2021 Awards and International Screening Series. And today we are excited to bring you Song Without a Name, this year's Peruvian entry for the International Feature Film Oscar. We are going to show you the trailer for the movie, and then we will go right into a conversation with director Melinda Leon and actress Pamela Mendoza. To our audience, please participate in the live chat of the stream, share your thoughts about the film, and do let us know where you're all tuning in from. At the end, we will take some audience questions, so please submit those in the live chat. And now, before we introduce our guests, here is the trailer for Song Without a Name.
La Fundación San Benito ofrece atención médica gratuita a mujeres embarazadas.
Todo bien. Viene nomás para el parto. No te preocupes, déjate ya.
¿Dónde se lo han llevado?
Mañana regresa, te hemos dicho.
No, quiero ir a verlo, señorita.
Vamos.
Me han robado a mi hija. Tengo que denunciar.
Hola.
Tengo que hablar con un periodista.
¿Tu caso cómo fue?
Ustedes hicieron un anuncio sobre la clínica San Benito. Estoy buscando saber quiénes fueron.
Me han dado órdenes de que no informe a nadie.
¿Cómo era nuestra hija?
Hemos ido a poner denuncia. Estamos yendo, pero no nos dan.
¿Era la clínica San Benito?
Sí.
Yo le recomendaría que tenga mucho cuidado con este caso. La vamos a encontrar.
It's my pleasure to introduce director Melinda Leon and Melina Leon, I'm sorry, and actress Pamela Mendoza. Hello.
Hello, Joe. Nice to meet you.
Thank you so much. And congratulations on the film, of course, and the selection, and drawing attention to, certainly a very important political, cultural, human issue, which is, as you can kind of tell from the trailer, child trafficking, which was, it's going on right now around the world, but it was going on definitely in the 1980s, where in Peru, where your film is set. Melina, the film is dedicated to your father, to your late father, who I'm so sorry isn't here to see this film, which is so rich in detail and dedicated to him. But tell us who he was and why it's dedicated to his memory.
Yeah, well, he was a journalist, and he used to work in the newspaper, The Republic, La República. And the first newspaper that they printed had this headline where they were saying that judges were involved in the commerce of children, Peruvian children towards abroad. No, so it's dedicated to him, evidently, because I learned that this was happening because of him, no, and it was a very meaningful case for him because the newspaper was, say, like La República was his most important job he had, I think, for the longest period of time. And also there was something, I guess everyone understands, very emotional about knowing like what these women went through, no? Looking for their kids. Some of them were babies, some of them were children already.
Yeah.
So this is why we dedicated it to him, because in a way he was in the heart of the story.
So were you aware growing up that he was the heart of this bigger story? And then maybe that can also lead me to ask you about, where did your idea to do a feature film on this subject emerge from? I know you've done a few short films that have been very, very good. This is your first feature.
Yes. Well, you mean the why I picked this for the first?
Yes. And were you aware when your father was doing the work, writing about it, reporting about it?
Mm-hmm.
Were you aware? Did you talk to him about it? Did he share with you details?
Oh, okay, I see. Yeah, no, he wrote about it in 1981. So I was a baby then, so I didn't know about it. It was many decades later that he received a phone call from a French lady who wanted to meet him, and because she had come back to Peru to meet her biological mother and found out that she was never given in adoption. So she managed to learn the entire story through her own investigation, but also because of the newspapers, she found the newspapers. So while he was writing, no, I didn't know anything. It was later on when I was in New York, already finishing my master's, and I was looking for a story, and I guess I was very lucky because the story came to me. I was finishing studying and thinking, what's going to be my opera prima? What could be? I was thinking already, it's probably good to speak about something that I really know about. And I think one really knows about our own memories, and childhood memories even deeper, So this story appears, and I thought it has everything. It has me, my memory. So actually, I moved it a little bit. Instead of 81, I put it in 88 and changed, made it a fiction, but kept the seat. But it has me, and it has the other. So it's not egocentric. That it could be annoying, especially for a first-time filmmaker. But it's still very personal, and it explores the country, the society, and not only that, but humanity.
Let me include Pamela, but also maybe by asking Melina how you conceived of this character. What did you, before you ever met any actresses? What were you looking for? And also, was Facebook involved in some way?
Yes. It was. I can't believe it. So I was looking for somebody that was that had this double meaning. The story had the brightness, the joy, and also a deep understanding of the world. A strong presence. But both, because sometimes some actors I could think about had only one of them.
Yeah.
But I thought, no, we have to have both, because I wanted to fight the stereotype that is very strong here in South America, particularly in Peru. I wanted to fight this stereotype that Andean people, indigenous people, as sometimes we use the words like this, Andean or indigenous people are sad. There is a big cliche. I am sure there is ways of racist ways in the US, to go to talk about Black people or Latinos, stereotypes,
Yes.
Perhaps it would be the equivalent would be the lazy Latino, or something. So I figured I'm not reinforcing this sadness, it has to show, of course, he's gonna be not only sad but tragic, but not inherently sad, not they are not sad. They are perfectly well and hopeful, but things happen to them that, of course, destroy them. This is why when the friend that we have in common introduced us and showed me a picture of Pamela, I thought, yes, this is exactly what I think will be good for Georgina.
And that was on Facebook she showed you?
He showed me, yes. I was like, no, you're joking. After all these years, trying to make this movie, and then you show me a picture on Facebook and kind of make half of the film with this action. No, this is not happening.
However, though, what you got with Pamela was not only an actress, also anthropologist, very trained, very experienced. What was the first, maybe Pamela, we can talk about the first meeting between you and Melina on this.
Quiere que le cuentes sobre la primera reunión que tuvimos. ¿Cómo fue?
Pues parece que ambas habíamos tomado decisiones que nos llevaron a encontrarnos. Melina buscaba una honestidad cultural para crear y yo, a través de los grupos que realizan reparación cultural en la zona migrante de Lima Sur, buscaba un espacio de expresión y ambas nos encontramos.
Dime. It looks like Melina and I have made decisions that led us to find each other. She had made a decision to make an honest film, and I had made a decision to be involved cultural manifestations, cultural groups that would allow me to express who I am.
Express the need of cultural reparation.
Yes.
To answer our very historical experience about abuse. We need no keep on the inequality, the painful. We need to talk since other position or position to repair us as a community, as in familiar terms.
Inglés, muy claro, inglés.
Gracias.
But I want to ask too about your background working in theater, because here the performance is so still, very. I mean, you do emote and cry, but it's a very interior performance. So much of it is just done through your face. How difficult was that to sort of internalize all of the character's pain?
Quiere saber, dice que tu actuación fue muy interior, que se siente que viene desde adentro, ¿no? Y él quiere saber cómo hiciste para hacerte de este dolor, ¿no? Para hacerte de este, poder lograrlo, ¿no?
I understand this the truth from Melina of injustice on Peru, and how this injustice is related to my personal experience, to my personal cultural experience as a daughter of a Yakuchan family. So I could understand what she wanted to express through Song Without Name. So I just connect my truth with her truth. And I put
¿Qué
on,
quieres decir with her too? ¿Qué quieres decir ahí?
que yo conecté mi verdad con tu verdad.
Ah, okay. She's connecting her truth with my own truth.
Y I applied cultural tools that I learned on my childhood. I applied to performing tools that I have learned on my experience in theater. And it was a dialogue between both traditions, the cultural tradition and the academic tradition.
Wonderful. Curious to ask Melina about the script. You co-wrote with a guy. Is he from St. Louis? Actually, your co-writer. I heard that you found yourself while you were filming taking away dialogue. Doing it with less words. Tell us about that process. Having the actors and the scene tell the story instead of the words so much.
Yeah, I think it was a process of learning to trust the images and everything that they were conveying to us. So it was difficult because actually Michael, who is a writer, a novelist, he was with us in the set and he was suffering. He was suffering a lot. They say never bring the writer to the set, but he had to be there. I needed every help that I could get. And he was really concerned, and we were like, don't you worry, it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. Let's just learn, because it's a first film. So sometimes you tend to use the tool that you use the most, no, when in life, no, the words that we have. But then it's different in film, no? We're showing it's a different. We're trying to represent life as its complexity, no? But there is a difference, no?
Yeah.
So it's not exactly life itself, no? Almost we try to for the best way, but it's a difference. So the DP is very experienced in Tibriones. He shot many films, many feature films. So when he arrived to the set for pre-production, noticed that we were too involved with words. So he said, no, we can do this with less, and he encouraged everybody, no? And Michael understood too that it's gonna work in this way, no? It's gonna be a bit more mysterious.
Yeah, I think we need to, of course, talk about the visual style. The aspect ratio, the 4:3, which is almost square, not quite, and also the black and white, which I think did I hear you say that was somehow influenced by the newspapers from the 1980s in Peru?
Yes. The newspapers in those days were printed still in black and white, no? So in a way, our memory of the 80s is in black and white. That's why people from Peru, when they watch the film, say, yes, this is exactly. Because and also the DP, we were doing an interview the other day, and he said something very, very truthful. Color had arrived, of course, but color was not for everybody, no. It's one more way to say where this film comes from. No, you would visit your grandmother. We were in black and white. No, she kept her black and white TV. It's true. No? And then the more affluent people had their TVs in color, but most people still had their own. I had my tiny one in black and white. So it's one way to bring the spectator to the period of time. No? And also the TVs were 4:3. No? So one more way to be in the 80s. But there's also other philosophical things, no, in the black and white, how everything has two faces, no, and even till today we are always commenting with Pamela. This morning we were doing an interview here, and we were commenting how it's so great that we're calling attention with the film. We just premiered in Peru 2 weeks ago, no? But it's fabulous. On the other hand, there's other things that come with this greatness, no? Some attacks, no, from homophobic people, no, or yes, no, or people who think that the film should be some other way, or some, but they don't seem to try to understand what we were doing, but applying to the film that they think they want to make, or they think should be. No? So everything has these sides, no? And we are always in this gray. And I think the black and white can help you to explore these shadows and lights, no? In the 4:3 is also very humble, and our protagonist is humble. No? So I thought, as a female filmmaker, I should identify with this.
The edges are a little bit blurred as well.
Yes, we discovered this in the very last minute, that we were trying to make the film a square instead of a 4:3, and it didn't work. It looked like a rectangle, like a story, Instagram story. It was a rectangle. It was a square, but it looked like a rectangle. So Inti wanted to try this, and I said, come on, looks like a rectangle. It doesn't. But the colorist, very smart man from Brazil, Fabinho, he saw usually with Inti we agree a lot, but in this moment we were not really agreeing. We were like stuck a little bit, and without an answer, no. But Fabinho came up with this, and he showed it. We were in the theater. We did it with a big screen, no, the image processing, and all of a sudden he showed us these edges, and I thought, oh, this is great. It looks like gives it that memory, like a little bit fuzzy, like
yes,
it's like our memory, It's not exactly, but yeah.
I think I've heard you also talk in another interview a quote from was it Michael Haneke when he did The White Ribbon?
Oh yes.
That black and white also helps you to hide mistakes.
Yes, it does, because our budget was not very high. Obviously, it's very limited. So we thought we're gonna end up making a lot of mistakes because of we don't have control of many things. Many things are documentary, like in the film. It's not like we have 100 extras or things like this, especially in the markets, for example, or when Pedro is walking on that plaza, on that square, and you see a lot of people. That's documentary.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can imagine, no, if it's in color, it's not gonna be. We're gonna feel from these days, no. So, and yes, I heard Haneke that he made the white ribbon in black and white. One of the reasons was this, So I thought, oh my God, if this guy is worried, I should be worried.
Yes.
Yes.
Also, I mean, in that case too, it was a period film, which, you know, again, in your case, as your first film, the extra challenge of having to authentically portray the Peru of 30 years ago. So yeah, I mean, it's amazing to think that it was a low budget, because it certainly looks like it was a bigger budget, you know,
Great.
the film. Pamela, in terms of the black and white, which is just so important, I want to stay with it for a minute. Can you tell us about filming your scenes and then seeing them in the film? Was there a huge difference for you seeing yourself in the film, in the black and white, on screen?
¿Sentiste, cómo fue verte en pantalla? ¿Sentiste que fue muy diferente verte, o cómo, cuando estabas actuando, a cómo te viste cuando ya estaba la película finalizada, en blanco y negro y todos esos cambios?
Pues I felt that as like I have made that kind of exercise on my life, because for people like me who are Andino descendiente or
Exacto.
Amazonian descendiente, to survive in a city, to survive in inequalities, we have to use masks to access to opportunities. So after the whole experience, I understand that we still keep on our colors. So yeah, we had some national moments of violence, of national dilemmas that are universal, to are global. So this human dilemma of dispossession allowed to me to talk about that, to talk that it's time to live looking each other, understanding difference, and living with learning to the knowledge of other people, and saying
Pero
thank you.
¿cómo te sentiste tú? O sea, entre la actuación y lo que acabó en pantalla cuando te viste. Eso es lo que estaba preguntando.
Wow, a surprise that we can live many transformations, and we can return to us without lost our smile.
I also want to ask about the use of long takes in the film. There are some really amazing ones, including one that's on a motorboat that's traveling on the water for minutes, I think, many minutes. And then another scene, which I love, where we meet a second woman who has also had her child stolen. And the camera sort of, they're at a table together. She's telling her story, and it just sort of slowly sits on her. So, Melina, you know, maybe talk about some of the other filmmakers who you've admired their use of. I know you've talked about Asian cinema and well, Haneke and someone like Bela Tarr does so. They're very effective in this film. I can even think of a few more that I'm not going to go through all of them, but tell us about using that style.
Yeah, we watched a lot of Bela Tarr films. I like that you could feel the time. I guess this is the teaching of Tarkovsky, no? That our essence is not only the image, but the time, no? that when you click play or recording, actually what becomes your tool is that life is happening in that shot and you're experiencing it. When you cut, it's not live anymore. Like there's no cut. So it was I guess this is the intention, no? To be there, to be with them for the longest period of time, to offer that to the spectator, no, to a certain pause, no, pause and be here, no, instead of a lot of stimulation, no? Just enter that talk with the audience, enter that language with the audience, so that we're really there. We saw this in Belatar. We saw, of course, Tarkovsky's master, no? But also I admire the work, for example, of this Chinese filmmaker Yang Yimou.
Mm-hmm.
He shot this film Yellow Earth, for example. He didn't direct it, no. Another person directed it, but he shot it, and I really like how he used the background, no, of this to it's like he was shooting the earth, no, it's yellow earth, and so he's shooting a lot the earth, and he also had long shots. Also, I guess Jia Yanke, no? Jia Yanke also uses this a lot of them, but I think I really like a mix of things. It's not only one style that I like. I think we were just saying this, that for some moments this film required electronic music, because the violence is, we don't think is natural. It's not part of the sounds of our memories, really, of the love that we've received and the love that we have for this country and our people, no? So it had to be different, it had to be distorted, but everything else, so it's okay to put these shadows, to shoot these weird places, and to create this horror. Almost we are jumping almost in the suspense thriller horror show, no, manipulating the sounds. And but then so some films are very good examples, no, for this kind of work. But then you come back to the reason why you're making this film, I guess, your love for people, and then it can be distorted. You have to watch, then you remember other filmmakers like Jia Yanke, for example, or a Kiarostami, no?
Mm-hmm.
Which is like, sit, like, don't even use music. Like, no, you don't need it. Just look at people, no? It's other attitude, no? So it's difficult for me to say an influence, because there's so many, because it's all of these influences are serving the story, no? And the story has all these sides.
Yeah, and for sure, I think there are a lot of choices that you make here. There are some times where you keep the camera far away, other times that you go close. It's yeah, I mean, I think sometimes a short take, long take, and you're right. It's depends on the scene, depends on the emotion, you know. I want to bring up Tommy Paraga. Who plays the journalist here in the film, because it really is sort of a parallel story. It's, of course, the story of Pamela's character, and with this journalist who I guess is somewhat based a little bit on your father, but he's certainly his own character here, and has sort of a loneliness of his own, which plays a part in the film. Can you maybe, and of course these two things do intersect. He tells Georgina's story, the character story. But can you talk about casting him? Where is he from, and how important that character was for you in developing?
Sure. He's from Pisco. It's in a province in the south of Lima. No, and I had met him. We made a short film together, so I had worked with him, and I already really like his work. So yeah, and it's inspired on my father, but obviously it's not so much because my father, as I have to explain many times, he was, to my knowledge, not gay. No, so
Your father was heterosexual, and
look, to my knowledge, to the best of my knowledge,
right. The Pedro, it's revealed, is a gay man, which becomes sort of an issue for his personal safety at a certain point.
Yes. One of the versions of the script, he was not gay, and well, not one of the versions. What am I saying? For a long time, he was a straight man, and I was feeling that that he was looking like a savior, like this typical macho that saves women. No, that the stereotype again. No, I guess. No, so I thought, I don't like this. I don't like to reinforce again the stereotype of women that need to be saved. So I feel, and was not liking. I don't like in general characters whose lives only have a meaning or a sense in movies to do something for the protagonist. No. So I thought, I like movies. I like better movies where I see that the other characters also have a life, also have a conflict and something going on with them. And I thought this is more complex, more honest. No, he's not like a typical hero that gives his life and has nothing for him. No, in reality, this was the case. No, my father had a life, a personal life, and also was trying to do his best as journalist. No, he has his own things, and I think we all share this. No, we dedicate to something, but we have other aspects. No, so this is, and I thought Tommy. Has this quality where what you see is just one aspect. There is a mystery in his expression. Also, his racial way. I mean, you can define his race. I think in Peru, at least, I don't know for you guys, but in Peru, I see him as a mix of everything. No, he's not white, but he's not indigenous, but he's not like Asian descendant, but he's a bit, it looks a bit like that. Yeah. So I thought, I really like this face of his where you can see the entire Peruvian communities in there. No, it's very interesting.
Yeah.
So I like that. No, it was going to be terrible for me if, this heterosexual white man was going to help the poor indigenous lady. No,
yeah.
No.
We've seen that before. That story has been told.
Yes. I don't like. So I thought better both of them to be marginalized, so they understand each other.
Yeah. Oh, it's very powerful how they do work sort of parallel and in tandem. Well, Pamela, I want to ask about, and I'm not going to give away the ending of the film, except to say that I do have a rule that I love any movie that decides to end with the main character's face. Just, there's so many good ones, and here's another really good one. It's Pamela's face we see on screen at the very end. Curious about what you think. What's the future for her? If you think now, I mean, she'd be probably about in her 50s or so. If you think of when the film is set versus now, I mean, if we think of this woman, as a real life woman, what, Pamela, did you think about what is going to happen to her, or any hopes that you had?
Bueno, lo primero que dijo es que le encantó que terminemos la película en un close-up de Georgina y que quiere saber si te has imaginado en algún momento cuál sería el destino de ella pasados los años, ¿no? Que a estas alturas Georgina ya tendría como 50 años. ¿Qué hubiera sido de ella? Está tu micrófono apagado.
Women here, like Georgina, have experimented a story close to that story, and they have what I found on her is that they have found a way to repair, a way to continue, a way to build a strong. I really love how women and men on that situation can create space to repair and to make try to make conditions to the community to protect community for inequalities conditions. I think that is a hope, a social hope for us, and I have learned of that.
Melina, you said that it premiered. Is it 2 weeks ago in Peru?
Yes.
The film.
Yeah, the 15th.
And you did mention a little bit about the reaction, some of the different reactions, but what has it been like? I guess I don't know how much you're able to see anybody face to face in the world we live in now, but what's the reaction been like? Has there been a good conversation in some ways started up by the film?
Yes, I think so. It's starting to happen. We have, the conversation has been through social media, no? People writing, sending messages. So we are in the middle of processing all that. No, we're a small group of people doing the campaign. So we are just getting ourselves together because it's been overwhelming, the amount of messages. Some of them very short and easy to understand, but some of them more complex, no, and ideas that are more complex. The press has been very encouraging too. So we're in the middle of all that. But yes, I think our first idea for the campaign before the pandemic was to bring people to the 80s, to base the campaign on the 80s. No? But now we discarded that idea because we are back in the 80s. No? with the pandemic.
Yeah.
Everyone's comment has been that too bad we haven't really improved as a society. You know, there's a lot of disappointment and anger right now because we kind of, some people trusted these neoliberal policies that we started in 1990 after this period. And some, because there is some growing of the economy for 500,000 people in Lima, and you see the buildings, you see the all kinds of brands arriving, all this and that. It fools you that, oh, maybe there is more wealth and this and that, but that is not, has no real huge repercussion in the entire country. The economy is unequal, is what Pamela is saying. The inequality is gross, in other words.
Yeah.
So also the government didn't create any hospitals for Georgina. And guess what? There is no hospital for Georginas today. No. So we are like, shoot, we're watching a mirror. That's what people are telling us. It's so the film is so current, so like a mirror.
Yeah. We do have some questions coming in from audience members. So if we can put one of those up now.
Pame, si podemos contestar estas en castellano para poder hacerlo un poquito más rápido.
From Leah, what are your hopes for the future for this film, with this film? Right, kind of what you were just saying, since it's still happening, including in the US, controlling women's bodies with illegal sterilizations.
Yes. What are my hopes for the future with this film, since it's still happening, including in the US, controlling women's bodies? I guess my hope is that we wake up one day as Peruvians, but as our friend here says, it's in the entire world. So we have to wake up as humanity. It's so my hope is very modest. I guess it's very modest. This might young or old, whatever person, one person can understand this film and why so many elements of violence are placed in the film, and we can understand how it works, and somehow even for one person to help him, her, they cut the circle of violence, because and see how it's not a story, just a story of Georgina, which is super important. It's at the heart of it. It's a indigenous woman, and this happened to her. And this violence is coming. It's extreme. It's like it's the most horrible. But we are doing this on an everyday basis, bullying people for whatever reason. No, you're gay. Well, go down. You're half white, but not go. You are women. You are whatever. So we are proceeding like this. And also, I think I keep, with the pandemic, I keep thinking all the time, it's also in me, obviously. In other words, we all have a Trump in our hearts. No, it's not that he is a monster and we are like, oh my God. No, it's in a way, it's a reflection. So I see it, how I think to this day, they are getting vaccinated. We are not getting vaccinated. Oh, wait, but it's us, right? So I should be happy that, this is happening to the world. We have this tendency, in humans to put labels, oh, you are this, you are not me, no, you are different, no. And I think in this we have to make these voices rise, no, the women, the indigenous, all of this, but in a way that we don't reproduce the violence,
Yeah.
in a way that we don't end up perpetrating more violence than we already experience, no. And it is a work that has to happen inside us. So I think this, for movies, this is great because it works inside your heart, your consciousness. It's not a political discourse, no. It's so personal, a film. So I think if it becomes personal for one person, great. If it's more, then it's good. We made our contribution.
Since my point of view, I have seen that women in the whole world have experimented diverse waves of violence against their body. And in the very moments in other parts of the world, the women have organized demonstrations, waves to mobilizations, unions. This story is an image of experience here, maybe connect with the moment we women here in South America, in Peru, are looking for independence, sovereignty, and there are other movements of women in the whole world with other experience of political participation, of liberations. So maybe this story make possible a global understanding.
Do we have another question? Alicia says, where would a woman in Georgina's position have her baby if she had not gone to the free clinic, right? Which is not actually a clinic. She doesn't know that in the film, of course. But yeah, so where would she have gone otherwise, if not there?
Yeah, I think, well, the how do you say, the community place, the hospital that belongs to the neighborhood, no, it's called a posta, no, it could be, but there was not many, or at home, no, but I think because they are so alone, she doesn't dare to do this, no. It's not like her mother, her aunts, her people are there for her to give birth. So they are young and like new in the city, and they have their friends, but they are not very close, no. They are that new people, no, immigrants. So, and normally, I think now it could be to approach a big hospital that belongs to the state, no, to the government, a government hospital. But in those days, we even had less, no, than now.
Yeah.
In my familiar experience, my grandmother was childbirth, partera, but that experience have survived to
doula. I think it's doula.
Something like that. But women from the Andes, from the Amazonas, have fueron infantilizadas. That exercise of help to other women was underestimated for the political power here.
We'll take another question from Karen Davis. Oh yeah, this is a good one. How many of the cast of actors were non-professionals, and what was it like to work with them?
Most of them were non-professionals, and it was great working with them, because I think they have a lot of respect for the director. So it's like, it's not like they've made 100 films and they are like, oh, who are you? No, which is horrible. That happens a lot. So they are like, they trust you. You're the first person they meet that kind of knows, and it's in the film business, whatever. So I find it refreshing and wonderful. I think is, and of course there is a little bit of difficulties, but I think I'm more afraid of actors who think they know everything, and in Peru we don't have a film industry. They work a lot in theater, so they bring that to film, and it's very over the top, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So I'm more afraid of that than starting from zero with an actor and play and teach a few things like, oh, the camera is gonna be here and you're gonna be there. That it takes a little bit, and then it's everything is fresh. You don't have to undo things. You can build. It's more difficult to undo and then do. Like, I find it.
We have two more questions left. Let's go to the next one. How was the film received in Peru, and the government's response? That's an interesting.
We don't have a government. We wish we could say, but we really don't have a government. We are at that point, and you'll be like, what is it? What do you mean? No, we don't have a government. Whatever we had there, I want to believe it's just a few people doing their best in the worst possible situation. And even though I don't like many things that they've done, they've killed already like 5 people that were protesting for better wages. Nobody put them there. We just had a coup a few months ago. So we had this terrible, corrupt president and ended up in jail. I mean, in his house, but still. And then we had Martin Vizcarra, which is who was there for like 2 years, and then the Congress made a coup, and just for 2 weeks we were lost. We didn't for 1 week, and students that were protesting because of this coup were killed, 2 of them, and then a lot of people got harmed. So then, and the president during that week was a disaster. Nobody wanted him. He was really hated. And so this guy who has gone to big schools and is known to be like the wisest of all congressmen, he's like, okay, you be the president. So he's the president. So it's not a real government. So nobody cares what they say. It's like we're trying to survive to the pandemic and to make it to the elections, not to study democratically that we can call government. So now whatever, they haven't said anything, and I understand why they haven't said anything, because it's like they're just like in a party when things go bad and you are like trying to put your best face. That's kind of the attitude of our president right now.
Before we go to the last question, though, I guess I didn't want to end without asking about being the official selection of Peru for the Oscar. That's that's quite special, especially with a film that's on this subject matter. So maybe if you could just both speak just for a minute about the selection of your film.
Yes, if you allow me to start, Pame, it's a big honor. It's just a big honor, and we had a great start going to Cannes. But this was 2019, no? And then we didn't know. After Cannes, we thought, okay, great. This means we're gonna go to a lot of festivals, but we didn't know we're gonna get awards. So it was a great road, getting many awards. But in the end, we were always like, wouldn't it be great represent Peru for the Oscar? So yeah, it would be great. So it's one more wish that we made. So one more dream that became real, no? So it's fantastic. We're very proud. I'm very proud of Pamela, Tommy, everyone, the entire team. No, it's a collective thing. So that's what I can say. Pame.
So proud and so happy to meet each other with you. And yeah, it would be great. Hopefully.
One more question from an audience member, Suzanne. Why did you name it the title? And then maybe if you do want to speak a little bit about the ending, which we sort of alluded to earlier, but maybe be more specific.
Yeah. Well, the name Michael J. White, our co-writer from St. Louis, named it. We had, I guess in English would be lullaby for a kid, sort of canción de cuna, no? We had it for some time, and he wasn't happy. He was saying, there's something missing. There's something missing about this title. So I said, yes, I'm not completely sure, but let's see. And then he came up with it. He said "Song Without a Name." So actually, the first name of the film is in English. No? It was born in English.
So Michael thought of it first in English, and then
we translated
it to you. Yeah.
Yes, we translated it. And I guess what I liked about it was that it expresses the rage, and it expresses the love.
Yeah.
No? The violence and the love of a mother. No. Before we only had the love, and when we added sin nombre, no, it also speaks about everyone that has no name, everyone that is not considered, is made like nothing, no, like invisible.
Yeah.
Yes, so this is why. And about the end, what was the end of the film? She wanted to know.
Yeah, I guess just kind of a question like I asked Pamela before. Maybe if you could answer it about what does the future hold for Georgina in the film. We don't know. I guess I don't want to be too revealing. We don't know if she finds her child or not. But what do you think?
Oh,
¿Cuál es el futuro de Georgina?
Yeah, no. He's asking the same question that he asked. Te está preguntando lo mismo que te preguntó a ti, me lo está preguntando a mí, ¿no? I think she doesn't. I think she doesn't, but she manages to. and this is why it's a fiction film, but because through fiction we arrive to truth. Nevertheless, in reality, one of the women that inspired, and two of the women that inspired the film found their kids.
Yeah.
But these were the miracles. the most of the people did not succeed. No? So that's why through this fiction, I think we arrive to something even more harsh, than sometimes life is that unfair, no? So, but I think she still has her love. She still trusts humanity.
Yeah.
So this is the emotional place where she ends.
Well, we're going to end here as well. And I do want to thank both of you so much for joining us and for sharing your film and the thoughts about the film with us. And congratulations again on obviously on the selection, but also just on bringing this film into the world and telling a very important story.
Thank you so much, Joe. Thank you. It's been wonderful talking to you.
Thank you. Likewise.
And thank you, Liara.
Gracias.
Gracias.
Gracias. Cortamos aquí.
And thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Be sure to take advantage of our free trial to Wrap Pro and be the first to know about upcoming Wrap screenings and events. And you can also check back on our screenings page, screenings.thewrap.com as well. Bye.